that you're doing?
I do it to figure myself out. That's pretty much.
Who are you?
Huh?
Who are you? How would you describe yourself?
I would describe myself as, I don't know. That's very depressing. I don't know how to describe it. I know. So, I don't know.
Why did you decide to become an actor?
Because the reasons have changed over the years. Initially, that's just, it felt good. It it felt, don't look like that.
I'm listening. Oh my.
It felt right. Like being in the midst of it, it felt right. And then doing it, like being on the stage felt right. And then as I got older and started, learning about it and training in it, it feels like the opportunity to find myself inside of something else or someone else. Like, where do I connect with this character? Where do I connect with that character? Oh, like even like with Aunt Louie, at first I was like, I mean, yeah, this will be fun to do in the audition, but I'm not really like her. And then, after pulling her apart and pulling apart the scenes, I get to find where I am like her. And that's really exciting and like deep. And like for me, what I liked about theater the most was the rehearsal process. Like once we got into production, I mean, yeah, there are some things about it that I like, but I really like the rehearsal process where you get to like figure it out and create it. What I like about doing TV, and I imagine film will be the same. I've done a little film. Yeah. What I like about it is that it feels like rehearsal to me. It feels like we're shooting the rehearsals. And so the more homework that I do, the more I'm able to play and create this full thing. And I can't hold back. Like in theater, I've been saying this lately, like in interviews or whatever, there's opportunity to hold back, even though I know I shouldn't. There is space to have that thing where, oh, I get home and I didn't try that thing. That's been nagging at me or eating at me. I should have just went for it, but I did. I'll do it tomorrow. Versus in TV and film, you don't get tomorrow. So it's like you gotta just do it now, even if it's bad, even if it's whatever it is, just do it. And that's the thing that I like most about what I do, is the creating. For instance, and it reminds me of like when I used to play Barbies all those years ago. As I got older, it became less about these two characters playing, and it became about creating the house, because I didn't have a Barbie house. What I had was my dining room table and the chairs. And so the dining room underneath was the house. So underneath the table was the living room, and underneath the chairs were all the bedrooms and the bathrooms and stuff. And so it became about creating the house. And once the house was the way I wanted it, then it was like, now I was bored. And so, yeah, for me, that's the fun part of it. And I like another interesting thing that I have found about myself is that when I was like 11 or 12, I was telling my aunt about this dream that I had, and she thought of, I imagine she still thinks of herself, but thought of herself as a person who was really good at interpreting dreams. And so anyway, she told me that my dream was about learning about myself and telling me to learn about myself. And that really resonated with me at the time, and it still does over and over and over again. And so, and I remember at the time feeling like, oh, I know myself. I know who I am. But then not really having a full grasp on that. Like that became clear, like, oh, there's more for you to learn. And so that's why that question just always gives me such anxiety, because I feel like every time I feel like I know myself, how do I articulate all those things that I know in a way that makes sense to other people first? And then I still feel like I'm always learning, always exploring more and more of who I am.
What's the most interesting thing you've learned about yourself since you moved to LA?
Since I moved to LA is that the spiritual life that I had my fingertips on is really what is really real and has nothing to do with church per se, particularly Christianity, but it is real, and it is alive, and it informs, and it is connected to nature, and it is and I'm not alone in that.
What made you come to this realization?
Well, it started in college, but I didn't find in New York a community of people that kind of, not that they're not there, but I hadn't found a community of people that had a similar language to what I was feeling. And I found that here.
How did you find that there?
Because it was, so I'll go back. In college, I was raised Christian, Pentecostal, not Baptist, but Church of God. So anyway, shouting and hollering and speaking in tongues and all that. So I remember being in church, and one of the sermons that the pastor talked about a few times was, like a cautionary tale to the young people, hold fast to your faith and what you know, because when you start going to college or whatever, there's going to be people that's going to tell you, that what you believe is wrong, and, and it's bad, And then the other thing was, be careful about the energies that you are around, because, devils and demons be jumping out at you. Stay prayed up. Voodoo is bad.
Let me get some extra in my prayer pocket.
Right. So fast forward to, I was a junior, I think, in college, and I took this class, History of Jazz Dance. It was a 3-credit course. So we danced. It was a dance class, but we also had to write papers and stuff like that. So we traced jazz dance all the way back to Africa, and we explored, the music. We explored all these religions and all these different things under the umbrella of this class. And we started, and then we got to the Caribbean, and we started exploring the Orishas. And for me, that was fascinating. Like, what? There are these deities, and they have colors, and they have dances that go with them. And we learned some of the dances, and it was just fabulous. And then she started talking about voodoo. And it was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to learn something new, you know. Oh, and they, you know, the Orishas are there too. Okay, and Candomblé and Santeria and other parts of the world and how they're all combined, you know. And one day she was like, this was on a Friday. She was like, okay, and so on Monday, we're going to see a voodoo ceremony on like we're going to watch a tape. And I was like, what? Now, learning about it and, you know, learning the dances is different from seeing with the whole, okay. So then I spent all weekend, huh?
Did you have to get prayed up for that?
Yeah, I did. I spent all weekend getting prayed up. Like, okay, because I don't want nothing jumping out the TV at me. Okay. It was really real. And I wasn't like going to church every Sunday by that point. Like I had already began my separation from the church like years before. But this was like, this is a whole other thing. So here comes Monday. I go to class. I have been prayed up and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for it. She rolls the TV out, you know, push play on the VCR, you know, and the thing starts. And we had already learned what happens, you know, like they do the dance, and if they do it well enough and the Orisha is pleased, it comes down and sits on the head, and that's when they become possessed. Okay, got it. So it starts, the drumming starts. I'm with the drumming. They make the circle. I'm like, okay. And they started dancing. I forget who they were praying to. I think it was Shango. But anyway, they're dancing and she points out the lady. She's like, watch this lady. And they're, you know, going around the circle. And I'm like, okay, I'm with it. And then you see the moment where he comes and sits on her head. And I was like, holy fucking shit, this looks like my church.
Exactly. It's not voodoo, it's African religion, which is all Pentecostal faith is.
Yeah. And they don't know it. And so completely blown away and completely like, what is really going on in the world? Wait a minute, I gotta redo my whole thing, right? So that was the beginning of, you know, trying to find God in a place that was not limited to this one idea and to this one building and these one certain kind of people. And then feeling okay with expressing that to my family and then my extended family, because my mom and dad were not religious, but my aunts and my uncles and my grandmother were, you know what I mean, or are. And so it really became a big thing when I got married, because I knew everybody expected me to get married in the church, and I was like not having it, but fully knowing, but wanting other people to know and feel the presence of God in the space without it being in a church in the name of Jesus. And so, and also at the time, Jamal was not very religious, but not having had that same separation and then rediscovery of his spirituality yet. And so wanting to be respectful of him, but also honor my own beliefs. So that was the whole thing. But we made it work and it was beautiful and it was great.
Did you have an Orisha song or something?
No, we had a, they're called not non-denominational, but they just embrace all forms of spirituality. And she was very like Afrocentric, like lots of like binding rituals, and we called our ancestors into the space and we released butterflies, and it was just very, it was really lovely.
They had an Oshun wedding, but you ain't tell nobody.
Yeah, I did. My colors, Jamal's favorite color is orange, and so my colors were yellow, orange with a little teal in it. I had
a peacock hat. Yes, I saw it. I was like, she ain't got no veil. She got peacock feathers in her head. You're not slick.
Yeah. And yeah, I was like, as long as I know, and Jamal knew, I told Jamal, nobody else knew, and it was okay.
And you don't have any other people who know this tradition in your close immediate family. So why you ain't tell me this doing Good Bread Alley?
Because I was like, I don't know.
You end up playing with Orishas.
And I was loving it. I loved every minute of it. And I loved learning the songs. I loved watching Jadelle. Like, it was amazing. Yeah. Because I love Miriam. I was like, okay.
That's a good idea for a play.
Yeah.
Okay, so you froze. Okay.
So
you're going to go and transcribe this, and we're going to learn a lot about you. I'm going to load it to YouTube unlisted, and I'm going to put it in the folder on the Badass Actor Business Strategy members only page. All the classes that I've recorded are there. People's mission statement is there. You go there, download it, and transcribe it. And then let's look at what you've learned.
Okay.
My only note about The Woman in Red is it's very stream of consciousness right now. And I want you to think of plot points as events. Instead of narrating, well, what happens next is this, right? So it's like, in Good Bread Alley, the opening scene, he getting hung. That's the inciting incident. And my outline would be like, the inciting incident is a Black man been hung. Next scene. This scene tells us who that Black man was, and then presents to us what the major conflict of the play is. The old religion, new religion, women, and vulnerability. Got it. And within that, that's why the first scene is so long. It has to set up the major conflicts of the story. That's your first scene, and it has to do it fast. Okay. All the major characters have to be introduced. The major conflict in between those characters. So what's the major conflicts that drive the script are her magic. So we see that in the inciting incident. And then this battle with her sister, which really is about old religion, new religion, and remembering who you are. And then the men. In that first scene, everybody that's going to be a fucking problem and present something to preach, we all meet them and we see the tension. We don't need to see it fall out, but we see these are the relationships that are going to create the 6 plot points. So structurally, that's how that's what an outline does. It's less narration and more. How are you going to create the problems that make the script move? So does that make sense? So each plot point is an action. And then underneath in the A, the little A and the little B and the little C under the plot point, you can go into detail about what that was, but not too much detail. You know what it is. But the outline is to make sure it stays active and it's building. So that's the structure, and it has a payoff and people can enter into it. And it's even harder with the short because you got 20 pages, 15 pages to do it. But that's okay. Focus on one event. That's what I said. We always try and do a lot. You know, in the writer's class, I have people talking about, well, see, what I want to do is show how her husband abandoned her. And that's why she's homeless now in New York City. And I'm like, whoa. Whoa. So the abandonment happened 15 years ago, and now she's homeless in New York City. What do you want me to know about her that can happen right now in real time? What did that abandonment do to her? It shut her down. Show me how she shut down, and then show me how she opens up. That's all I needed, 10 pages. That's it. She's like, well, what about the backstory? That's a feature film. And even then, flashbacks in a feature film, people be like, 1, it's too much money. 2, it's a 90-minute film. We don't have time for all that. And 3, it slows down the plot, the action of the plot. That's what flashbacks. So it becomes very slow and lyrical, and it delays the stakes. So if you can avoid a flashback, if you can find a way to give us the information that flashback would give us in an active problem, that would be more useful. And I had another script with somebody's like, but the mother's dead and she did that. I was like, well, you want to do a flashback? Don't do a flashback. resurrect the mama, make her alive, and let her come in and fuck him up. Then we go. They were like, I can do that. I was like, this is your script. Why are you making it? He's reacting in the present based on some shit that happened when he was 6. Then we got to go all the way back to 6. No, she could do the same. Has she stopped doing this shit? No, she ain't. Okay, she's still doing the same shit, fucking him up. Let her fuck him up in real time. Real time. The present is rich enough, right? Don't explain anything. We ain't never, the opening scene, I wrote that because I didn't want a talkie play. Let me see shit happening. Let me see shit happening. People of color love to preach, but that doesn't make great story. It's why we've not, in television, we've not able to, except for Shonda, really break through with our magnificent stories because we're still preaching. Whereas like shows that are very successful, like Game of Thrones, start with the action. And white boys who write sci-fi are really good at action. That's how they think, right? And I've been reading a lot of fantasy lately, and then reading Black women who write fantasy, and everybody's like, oh, she's really good. And I was like, she is just giving me all this background I don't fucking need. White boys go straight to the magic. And then the fallout is what we see. And I was like, frankly, the action is what keeps me in the story. Not the mystical, I'll figure out that she insecure about her blackness. You will need to explain that to me. Action. Action. A confrontation. A choice that has to be made. To go into the office or to go and write your letter of resignation. Action. 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 Right? To take the, what do you call it? The partnership track, or to leave the office in the middle of the day, go to the park and start writing poetry. Like that's a short film. We've made the decision, just looking around the office, is this what I want my life to be? You do that visually. Mm-hmm. Truncate, 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 and make it active. So where you have a lot of shit that's not active, and it's description and setting ambiance, give me some action. I don't need ambiance. I need action. Because I'm out of it if there's no action. And this problem is very common. The Badass Writers Mastermind group has been writing for a year. They're still figuring out action. And they're still figuring out the outline. And they hate me. And Justine had her writers retreat this past weekend. If you're on Instagram, you should go to my page and see her video. So there's a video that I interviewed her during her writers retreat. And Hillary Ward has taken a private writers retreat with me too. So as Nilsa, only the brave do that. Usually it's to take a class. So it's like 16 hours with me in a room. I make you tea and shit. I let you take a little snack. You do pages, I read. You do pages, I read. You do pages. So if you go to the Instagram page, Justine, I'm interviewing her. She's sitting on my magenta divan with a teapot, an Asian teapot full of mint tea from Morocco. The cat is lazing. The palm trees are surrounding her. The bird of paradise is flapping over it. It's a beautiful scene. And she's like, yes, and this retreat, and it's really beautiful, and I'm just learning so much. And then I said, okay, now when you get home, I want you to do a video that is the unfiltered version. So the unfiltered version is on my page. And it's not quite unfiltered. She's like, so I just did my writer's retreat with April Yvette Thompson, and I love her. But and then she laughed for like 30 seconds, and you're like, oh, that's cussing. This motherfucking outline? This motherfucking outline? I write some shit, I put it to, and then I do the outline. Like, she wrote the whole script, then we went to the outline. I was like, and this is why the script isn't working. And she was like, could you rework the outline? Sure, rework it. And I'll be like, I don't know what's happening. And she was like, I've been writing this. Watch the video, it's hilarious. I've been working on this motherfucker for 2 years. I was like, it's a lot of hostility. Hostility. I was like, but the breakthrough that we had changed the script. It now works. It was like most solo shows. I'm just gonna sit here and tell you about how I feel about my life. And we're like, no. What is her problem? What is her fatal flaw? And what forces her to get the fuck over it? by the end.
Okay.
That's how we continue to watch it. Think of Shonda. And nobody is sitting there talking about how they feel. Maybe Melee. Melee talks about how she feels, but she do it so fast that she go on to doing something next. But everybody else is just like doing shit. Nobody is standing still. They are doing shit. They fucking, they killing, they hiding, they blackmailing, but they're always doing shit.
Yeah.
There's no talkie. Slow shower scene. If there's a slow shower scene, somebody surprising comes in and they start fucking. Like, something is always happening. It's never, it makes me think of that scene. Did you see when she and Jake went off to the beach and they went into hiding? The very famous thing everybody's talking about. She got on the natural and she got on her white bathing suit and he comes and sits down and opens her thighs. I was like, oh, he did that like a nigga. Oh shit! Oh shit! The whole scene begins slow pan up to Carrie's slow pan. Her hand, the drink in her hand, the sunglasses. Her pulling the sunglasses down, seeing Jake, and then Jake comes over, and that's one sentence in a script. That pan is one sentence. She probably put the taking the shades off. She probably put that in herself. That's one sentence in the script. The next sentence is Jake pulls her legs open because something has to happen. The establishing shot is they in the Caribbean and Jake's with her. That's the establishing shot. Then after that, shit happened. He opened a leg. She said, do you want to do this? He said, no, I want to do that. And then they decide to fuck. 2 sentences. You know they fuck. Great. Back in Washington, D.C., Abby is fucking up the office. Great. There's always action. There's not this slow meandering. Action. 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 Then somebody gets shot. Fucking is good. You know, fucking is good. I mean, you start with fucking. It's an action. It's high stakes. All right? You know, some. That's what I'm saying. So Miss Orisha, go back in there. I can't believe you was all up into the Orishas. And you like, could you please say that to every Black American who's like, that's evil? I was like, it's what you doing in church. Only you doing it to honor some white man with long hair. Yeah. That don't make no fucking sense. It never made sense to me.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the church in Birmingham with the 4 little girls?
No.
Well, you should go to that church.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary. It's like they've kept everything exactly the way it was the day they died.
Wow.
And then there's a shrine to them in the basement near the kitchen, which was where they were, and they got blown up. And I was like, and they got a big old Jesus stained glass and white Jesus walking with some motherfucking sheep and white Mary. I was like, where's all these motherfucking white people up in here? And then up on the wall, they have the picture of Jesus, and he's black. And the people of Wales learned that their window had been blown out. And so they donated this. And I sat in the in there looking at it. It's huge. It takes up the whole wall facing the street, and it's like 2 floors tall.
Wow.
Stunning. And I sat there looking at it, and I was like, it took some white people on the other side of the world to imagine that your God could be black.
Yeah.
How is that? How fucked up are we?
Yeah.
And then I started crying. I was like, how fucked up are we? Yeah. It never occurred to anybody in that church to make Jesus black. And to the people of Wales, who ain't never seen nobody black, and during that time, people may have seen one Jamaican. Like, those people never seen. They were just being empathetic. Right. They were just like, oh my God, your children are blown up in your church. Like, and they're like posing your children too. This is ridiculous. Like mothers everywhere. You know, it was some mothers in some Catholic church that was like, we're raising money and we're doing this. And they commissioned an artist. It was like a $40,000 thing. It wasn't no little bit of money. They commissioned an artist to build it in Europe and then ship it and reassemble it there. Like it was a huge endeavor because the whole wall facing the street was blown away. It had to be reconstructed. And I was just like, the most telling thing for me was, how could you not imagine your God being black? Yeah. You are in so much motherfucking trouble. If you can't, like, everything that you do, all possibility comes from God, especially for Black people religious. I was like, if you don't think he looked like you, and that what he gave you is a gift, your skin, your hair, then how you gonna get anything done? Right. I was just like, that made me really sad. And I was just like, I can't be here. I have to go. I was like weeping. And I was with some other actors and they were like, I was like, it just made me I was like, we so ass.
It's 6 o'clock.
And then people would be complaining about Santeria. This center was like, let's see, the Orishas are really the elements of the earth. Like, you know, Oshun is like, stop fucking with the water. Yeah. Stop fucking with the water. Yo, stop fucking with the water. Okay, now the Arctic finna come to a more. I told you, stop fucking with the water. I'm finna go back to my house. But she told you, stop fucking with the water. Stop fucking with the water. Stop fucking with the water. In Africa, they listen to Oshun. They be like, yo, tell JoJo to stop shitting in the river upstream or we're gonna get sick. Don't be fucking with the water. Don't be fucking with the water. This is basic. Like, the Orishas are your environment. Like, this is basic. Stop fucking with the water. I was trying to test me. That's so evil and them candles. I was like, you better hope Oshun catch a Arctic flow or some shit, but we don't have no summer. Shit, it's gonna rain all year. You better hope Gemaya is doing something, catching some ice and trying to catch it back to the. I was like, because otherwise we gonna be fucked up. Like, that's what she did. I was like, yes. You think the slaves was jumping in the water? They like, well, yeah, but y'all go catch my black ass. Because if I go with these people, I'm going to be fucked right up. So I'm going with Yemaya. And people like, do it. I'm all right back home. Okay. But yeah, black people don't get it. I can't believe you ain't tell me this. People see.